being of sound mind and body, give my whole fortune to you. P-John, Pongo, and Lil Swimmy, the only family I ever knew.
I'm our only family, me, Pongo, and I'm not sharing anything with these pets.
All I want is Evie's ruby tiara from the comeback tour.
Stand up for your fair share, Fish. We're her family just as much as this overgrown chimp.
Who are you calling chimp, you sky rat?
Enough! I predicted you guys would fight. Now listen up, all creatures. You, me, every species are family. Because we all come from the same ancestor, no matter how much we have changed over time.
Wow, poor Evie really lost it at the end. In my legal opinion, none of you animals are related to Evie or to each other, which means the whole will is invalid.
Say what?
Then who gets my fortune?
Our fortune, chimp.
Why, me, of course. Her trusted lawyer. I'm at least human.
Ahem. I knew you'd pull that trick, Ted, which is why, before my death, I invited Mosa Mack, science detective, to prove my case.
Evie Lou! Think she'll give me an autograph?
Doubtful.
Don't let Ted fool you, Mosa. All life forms evolved from a common ancestor, and over time, new mutations cause new traits. These traits were beneficial in some environments and harmful in others. So from this common ancestor, new species came about. It's called evolution. If you look closely, you'll find similarities between different species, and that evidence suggests that we're all related. Check out these 3 things: embryos, fossils, and anatomy.
Whoa, big word overload. Can we take those one at a time?
All of which you'll find in my natural history wing.
Ew, I'll never go to that wing. Way too creepy.
Also, you can't walk.
Oh, nothing to see over there, all just dusty old charts and bones.
Sounds awesome. If similarities suggest you're related, my friend Gina is the perfect example. Her sisters are younger, but their features are so much alike, you can tell they're related. Same green eyes and red hair. And then at parent-teacher night, I knew which mom was theirs just by looking. I hadn't even met her before.
But Evie wasn't just talking about Gina and her family. She said all creatures and all species of creatures are related. How was that possible? I mean, how could humans be related to fish? How could apes be related to birds? They don't look anything alike.
Are you saying the Queen of Pop is wrong?
Guys, Evie said there was evidence, so maybe we should, check it out? Baby pictures of the ape, the fish, the bird, and Evie.
Well, baby pictures, I understand. But those don't look like babies to me.
Before a baby is born, I think it starts out as an embryo.
So these are embryo pictures?
At first, they all look like roundish blobs, no matter the species.
Lots of things are roundish blobs. That doesn't mean they're related.
As all of the embryos grow, their bodies are forming into sections.
And they're all growing limbs?
Birds don't have limbs, neither do fish.
On the fish, limbs turn into fins, and on the bird, they turn into wings.
Aww.
By the time they're born, you can tell they're different species. But when you look at the different species when they're embryos, you can see traits that look kind of similar, like those limbs.
And Evie said, when you have similar traits, that's a clue that you're related.
Maybe a clue, but not proof. Ted here, I've been watching on the security cam. And as far as I'm concerned, all species are not related and Evie's fortune still belongs to me.
What? He's right, Mosa. My great-grandparents aren't humans. They're sloths, just like me. So is everybody in my family, going back as far as we can remember.
Maybe we need to go back even further. Evie said we'd find more evidence by looking at fossils.
Looks like a big heap of rocks. What can we learn from that?
If you look inside the rocks, you can learn a lot. I'm Evie Lou's robotic fossil expert. She programmed me to sort her collection, but she died before she made me arms.
Which explains the mess.
So a fossil is an old animal?
Actually, no. Fossils are the remains or traces of ancient life forms. After a creature dies, sometimes its body is covered up and preserved by layers of rock and earth. Evie dug these fossils up all over the world.
So fossils can help us see what life forms looked like in the past.
And if we look at fossils over time, we can see how life forms changed over time.
How do we look at fossils over time?
That's where I need your help. If you could sort the fossils for me, oldest to youngest, by species, that will tell us a lot.
That sounds suspiciously like a chore.
I sort my mini monster trucks that way every night.
These are the oldest fossils, and they're really tiny. What are they?
Early forms of life, very simple. Each one has only one cell and no nucleus.
Next comes moss and algae.
And after that, plants with leaves and flowers.
The later fossils are bigger and more complex than the ones before.
Yes, over time, mutations created more and more new traits that were helpful in their environment, so life forms evolved from simple to more complex.
Evolved, as in evolution. Whoa, suddenly tons of new fossils appeared. What happened?
Tons of mutations. Life forms got more complex and more different. They developed into whole new species.
But why?
The environment changed. Plants made a lot of oxygen, so new life forms that use oxygen were able to develop.
Animals.
All those different species of life were fighting for the same food and resources. Mutations that made slightly different structures and abilities sometimes helped in that fight, which allowed the species with those helpful mutations to survive.
But then suddenly, fewer fossils. What happened?
Lots and lots of life forms went extinct. Changes in the climate and the environment meant that lots of species could not survive.
1 minute, life everywhere. The next minute, all gone.
Evolution has more ups and downs than the Hunger Games.
Actually, not all life forms died. Some survived and continued to evolve. And the changes didn't happen suddenly. They happened gradually over millions and millions of years.
So, fossils of fish with fins come before the fossils of animals with legs.
Which means what?
Fins and legs are similar traits, which Evie said is a clue that they might be related.
So, fish are the ancestors of land animals?
To be exact, some species of fish evolved into land animals. And of course, some species of fish, well, just stayed fish.
But why?
Again, a change in environment. Sea levels lowered, so there was more open space on land and less competition there for food.
So it was an advantage to survival to have legs.
So if fish decided to just sprout legs and turn into land animals, why can't I just sprout 2 extra toes and become a human?
And why can't I sprout 4 wheels and become a mini monster truck?
Ha, 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 ha. You're right. Individuals can't decide to just change their traits. In fact, they don't change their traits. They have offspring that might have slightly different traits because of mutations. And if a new trait is advantageous to survival and reproduction, a creature will be more fit for the environment and pass it on to their offspring. And over millions and millions of years, the new traits wind up being so different that it becomes a whole new species. Same thing here. four-legged reptiles did not just decide to sprout wings and fly.
Sometimes I dream I'm a van.
Over millions of years, they evolved into birds because of mutations and environment. Because wings gave them an advantage to survive. Legs and wings, more similar traits.
Okay, sure. Flying looks like fun, but how is it an advantage?
Looks like there were a lot of other land creatures at the same time, which meant more competition for food. Having wings helped them to reach places with food that other creatures couldn't get to.
And the land creatures were getting bigger, like these dinosaurs here, which made it easier for them to eat the smaller creatures.
So wings help creatures escape and survive?
So far, your fossil family doesn't include anything that looks like that ape or Evie.
Patience, please. Some fish evolved into reptiles, and some reptiles evolved into mammals.
That's us! Finally us!
And look how mammals evolve, from simple to complex. And here, one particular mammal, the ape, evolves into
A human. So by comparing the traits of fossils in order, it looks like some fish evolved into amphibians, and some amphibians evolved into reptiles, and some reptiles evolved into birds and mammals.
From fins to legs to wings! Another clue we came from the same ancestor, and we're all related.
Hold on. Just because mammal fossils came after reptile fossils, how does that prove mammals came from reptiles? How does it prove that they're related?
I couldn't have said it better, Sloth. Now, if you'll excuse me, I'm going down to the courthouse to have Evie's will thrown out.
You're not going anywhere, Ted.
Oh, not until Mosa looks everywhere, Evie told her to.
Last stop, anatomy?
That means animal structure. If different species have the same structure, that's a clue that they evolved from the same ancestor.
Structure. I'm thinking about my friend Gina again. She and her sisters all have the same long chin and huge hands as their mom.
Yes, children look like their parents on the outside and on the inside.
Zombies!
Actually, just skeletons. Now, these four aren't as closely related as Gina and her sisters, but if there's something similar in their structure, that's a clue they all came from the same ancestor.
No resemblance whatsoever. Give all Evie's money to the human.
Oh, hear that? Hear that?
Sit down, Ted.
Hang on. I think we need to look inside.
That's more like it. Now, what do you see?
They all have a long bone that goes down their backs.
I think that's a spine.
And the fin bones stick from the fish's body, just like the wing bones on the bird and the arm and leg bones on the ape and human.
And look even closer.
Look, in apes and humans, there are two bones in the forearm, just like there are two bones in this part of the wing.
But the fish here doesn't have that at all.
That fish might not, but look at its cousin.
Okay, now these two are related. You could tell just by looking at them.
Exactly, which suggests they share the same ancestor. Now, look closely at this cousin's fin. See anything similar to the others here?
I do. I totally do.
Okay, show me.
I'm sure these embryos all start out as round blobs, but at the end, they're totally different.
Hey, look at the pictures in the middle.
And there are millions of different fossils, all different.
Dude, look at the fossils in order, oldest to youngest, and you'll change your tune.
And nothing in these bones look the same either.
Look closer, Ted.
Embryos, fossils, and anatomy help us to see that we're family.
Bravo, bravo. But until you can spell it out to me in plain words, no music, you're not getting a penny.
Typical human, blinded by greed.
Even I'm convinced, Ted. We're all related, and we got 3 pieces of evidence to prove it.
And they are...
A little help, Mosa?